Hey now, what's going on everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I'm taking a little break from watching The Talking Dead to talk about The Walking Dead. Yes, The Walking Dead is back. Season 6, Episode 1, entitled First Time Again. I was so looking forward to the show coming back, so let's jump right into it. At the beginning, we see something very interesting, because all of a sudden, it's in black and white. And I have to be honest, at first I was like checking my own TV, like, wait, did I accidentally hit something to make this in black and white? Because even the AMC logo was black and white. And I was confused, and then you see them sort of flash forward, I guess, where we see present day, and you see Rick and the group, and they're in front of this whole pit, the walker pit, I guess I'm going to call it, and there's a shit ton of walkers. There's so many, thousands it looks like. I'm still trying to figure out what had more walkers, this pit or at the end of the Dawn of the Dead remake, where all of those zombies were hoarded around the mall. But either way, they clearly have a plan. At first, we don't really know what's going on because the whole episode is back and forth between flashbacks and flash forwards. And at first, I didn't love that. I think at first I was thinking I wish they would have just played the whole thing out in real time, because I was very interested to see the aftermath of what happened in the finale of Season 5. And I was very interested to see Rick and Morgan connect, talk, see where each other is at this point in their lives. And then whenever they would flash to the present day stuff, I just didn't know what was going on. I was confused. But ultimately, I think by the end of it, I like what they did. It was interesting. Even at first, I didn't know if I loved the black and white stuff, just because I was like, I want to see just these scenes in color. But again, it made it obvious which ones were what. I want to talk about Tara is okay, which is something I'm glad they put in there, because she was just kind of maybe waking up at the end of the last season, or maybe we didn't know if she was okay, but we know that she's okay. And I don't know what they're going to do with her and Eugene. Like, are they going to have something now, especially because Eugene is the one who saved her? Although I thought she was a lesbian. Maybe she's bi, who knows. I just kind of thought if a lesbian would start dating a guy, would Eugene be the guy? Who knows. We have some new characters. Corey Hawkins plays Heath, and I instantly recognized this actor because I saw Straight Outta Compton this past summer, and it was one of my favorite movies this past year. So I instantly was like, hey, that's Dr. Dre. Of course, he has new hair. I don't know how they made that hair look like that. There's a lot going on there. But I like this actor, so I'm glad he's on the show. And we have Ethan Embry, who plays Carter. And he's another actor that I instantly recognize. It's been a little while, but he was in Can't Hardly Wait as the kid who was in love with Jennifer Love Hewitt and wanted to give her the letter. You can't blame him, especially back then. But again, it was cool to see him in here. His character was very much against Rick. And it's easy to look at a character who's against Rick and say, fuck you. You're hating on our main character, or in my case, my favorite character. So sure, it's easy to completely dismiss him. But I was trying to look at it from his perspective, his point of view. I was thinking, okay, if he's somebody who, mind you, we didn't see him last season. Supposedly he was somebody that was already in the town. I'm like, okay, you just randomly pop up now? But he's been in this town for all this time. This new guy comes in, and he's a little on edge, a little intense. We know for good reason, but to somebody else it might be like, whoa, check this guy out. And he doesn't trust him. And he killed one of their own. And I could see where Carter was coming from. I didn't agree with him. And I did start to get angry at him when Eugene caught him talking or trying to arrange a little group to come up with a plan to kill Rick. And clearly he was the only one that felt that way. Hell, he was that close to killing Eugene just for catching them. But still, overall, I understood where he initially came from, and then by the end of it, or near the end of it, he saw Rick's point of view. He said he was right with the plan that they were doing, and he trusted them. So I thought, cool. Until they killed him! In the very first episode, he clearly wasn't prepared either. There was a moment in the flashback where Rick wanted to toughen him and some of the other people up because they're not trained, they're not ready, they're not experienced. So when they were out there building walls for the road and some walkers came up, Rick was like, no, let's hold off and let them deal with it. He's like, go on, you need to learn. And I was like, yeah, I mean, don't let them get killed, which I think Rick almost didn't care. But still, he's right. These people aren't experienced. You know, even when Carter did get bit, he just, like, the walker came up on him and he froze. And I'm like, well, any other character, or our characters, would have been able to hold off the walker long enough to stab him. But he just froze, didn't know what to do, and he fucking got bit in the face. So, and then he starts screaming, which starts to, I should probably talk about what the plan was. So Rick's plan was to take the walkers that was in this area, this pit, which I guess this is where a lot of the dead bodies go, and how Alexandria was able to stay safe for as long as it was because all the dead people, their bodies were put there, and then I guess they came back, and I guess that's where all of the dead people in this town are. So Rick wanted to lure the walkers out of this area, down the road, and I don't know what the ultimate goal was, but I figure it was to lure them to an area where they can just kill them all. I don't know if it was going to entail setting them on fire. I don't know. Maybe in retrospect, it would have been better to just set that whole area on fire, that whole, like, pit area. I think that would have been my plan, unless they just don't have anything to set on fire. But I'm sure they could have figured it out. Come on, some wood, some chopsticks, rub it together, right? Old school. But that was the plan. Now, some of the flashbacks included Rick and Morgan talking like I wanted to see. I really enjoy seeing Morgan on the show, I guess permanently. I guess he's here to stay now. And I love that. Here's a character who has been there since episode 1, but hasn't been there for a long time. And he showed back up in season 3 and for the 1 episode. And it's weird that he had only been there for 2 episodes prior. But his return in the finale last season, we felt like he has been here this whole time. We feel like we know him. We love his character because we feel like he is one of the originals. And so I love what it's going to be like to have him now fully with the group and have him at such a different point in his life where he's well trained and he's going to be probably Rick's backbone, or somebody who's going to try to remind Rick what it means to be human. Now, I don't know if I love the idea of the show making it seem like Rick is wrong for some of the stuff he does, or maybe too intense, because maybe he is, but I don't disagree with anything Rick has been doing. Maybe the point is Rick isn't wrong for what he's doing, but he's not thinking enough of it. He's not caring enough when he kills somebody. Maybe that's true, and maybe you're afraid that he could turn into Shane or the governor. So maybe this is all with good reason. I don't know. I don't ever disagree with Rick, so I don't want the show to make him seem like he's out of control, doesn't know what he's doing, because I do think he knows what he's doing. Even if this plan went awry. When they had to bury the bodies, Rick didn't want to bury Pete's body there for good reason. He's a killer, I mean, and he was a fucker. So they wanted to take the body out. The son followed them out there, which is kind of crazy. They drove out, and then the son, like, ran behind them. Like, really? That happened? Okay. And, of course, the son almost got killed by walkers. Rick had to school him a little bit. Later on, Rick talked to Jessie. I think her name was Jessie, right? Jessie? And it doesn't seem like he's going to get any from her anymore. I mean, he did kill her husband, but he was an abusive fuck. So, what are you going to do? I guess she's not the rebound from Lori after all. But when the whole moment of them leading those hordes of walkers through the streets, the road, it was pretty creepy. Just the sheer size of walkers was insane. There's so many of them. It's clearly the biggest, as far as walkers go, the biggest thing the show has done. And then when you get to the end, and they're just, it seems like even when Carter's character was screaming from the bite and they started to veer off and Rick had to kill Carter, which, I mean, he was bit anyways. Again, it was just, I guess, Rick wasn't sad enough about it. But then when the walkers started to walk towards them and then they had the gunshots to get them back on track, a moment where you're like, okay, this would be fucked up if they did go off track. But they didn't go off track, right? Until the horn starts honking. Where's the horn? Is it a car horn or is it something else? Who sounded this horn off? I don't know. Is it the wolves? Maybe. But fuck. Like, I'm trying to even process or think, who else would want all of those walkers to be free, to be let out, to roam around like that? There's too fucking many of them. Why would you want this? Who screwed this all up? This was such a great plan, and it's fucked now. So, I don't know what's going to happen next, but I thought it was a great first episode. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this first episode of Season 6 of The Walking Dead? Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!